There we go. I don't want to get in trouble with anyone for not recording a call. So to start us off with our signature message, the only man I know who's driving over 1,000 miles to Phoenix so that he can attend the convention virtually, Mike Thompson. Mike, take it away.
We are part of a growing team of entrepreneurs with a shared mission to protect and empower 2 million new families and small businesses with Legal Shield's network of law firms and world-class identity theft services. What we do matters, and we're looking for help. Back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Mike. Leigh Perry here in Evansville, Indiana. I am your host for the evening, and it is my honor and privilege to introduce my accountability partner and my workout partner, all rolled into one, Miss Annette Zobar, now in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Thank you so much, Leigh. And also Mike and Steve, this is always a great start to the Zoom. And as Leigh said, it's story time. My name is Annette Zobar, Gulfport, Mississippi, background QuickBooks consulting. So why do we do this segment on stories every week? Why are stories important? Well, stories are how we share the impact Legal Shield has had on the lives of our members and associates. They motivate us. They help us make connections with our prospect. And they're really important because you can borrow these stories you're about to hear, no matter if you're brand new or if you've been around in a while. So pay attention to how the story is told, who told it, their background. You might want to even contact them for a 3-way call if their story will speak to a prospect. So for our first story, we are heading over to Morris, Illinois to hear from none other than Steve Beck. Steve, you're on.
Thanks, Annette. This is, I think, a really heartwarming story. One of my newest members has a developmentally disabled daughter who just turned 18. And when her daughter was 17, and before she was a Legal Shield member, she was contacting attorneys because she had to assume guardianship by her daughter's 18th birthday so she could continue to make decisions for her health care, for her financial situation, and so on. And she was quoted retainers from different attorneys, anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. So then when she heard about Legal Shield and the part of our membership that covers her disabled daughter for the life of the membership, she called the law firm. And she said, I need to assume guardianship. I need some advice. And what they did was they walked her through the entire process. She filled out the paperwork. She submitted it to the law firm for review, and then the papers were filed, and she is now her daughter's guardian. And the total cost to her was her monthly membership. Back to you, Annette.
Thank you so much, Steve. That is a really great story. And there are so many people out there with special needs that this is a really good story to keep in our back pocket if we run across those situations. For our next story, I don't see that our person has on. I think he's having problems connecting. So I'll tell the story. I've been wanting to tell this story for a few weeks. One of my small business members, she's been a long time member, commercial HVAC company, they had one of their clients owe them $91,000. They just, during COVID, this chain restaurant just quit paying them. They contacted the law firm. The law firm was able to do a few things that people still wouldn't pay. The law firm then connected them to a referral partner. They did have to pay a little bit of money with the 25% discount, but they were able to get this second law firm who specialized in collections to collect the money. They are going to end up getting not quite $91,000. They're going to get something like $78,000. And even though she had to pay a little bit of money to get it, our member was so excited because they are going to be getting paid. So they're out a little bit of money, but they're going to get close to $78,000 of collections coming. So even when we have to go to those referral attorneys, they can do some really great things as well. So now it's time for What's My Line? And I have the honor of turning the Zoom over to Ms. Dani Goeden, who will be interviewing an associate. So who's it going to be this week? Dani, tell us.
Good evening, everybody. I am so excited to get to interview somebody who you see week in and week out we don't know much about her background because we don't get to hear that part. Miss Leigh Perry, we're going to interview you tonight for What's My Line?
It feels a little weird being on the hot seat.
Right? You're on the other end. I love it. So, hey, Leigh, tell me a little bit about your background before we jump in.
Well, I'm old enough that I've been around the planet a couple of times, so you know, a lot of baggage. I started out in corporate America, and I realized it was feeding my pocketbook, but it wasn't feeding my soul. So I quit and went to work for a nonprofit. The only problem with nonprofits is they don't tell you it means no profit for you. So I decided to do something a little bit different and got into higher ed. And I was a fundraiser, a fund development officer for higher education for 15 years and 3 different universities. And I finally, I don't tell this to everybody, but I'll tell this to y'all since you're my family. You can't fix crazy and you can't fix stupid. And I just got tired of trying. Okay. And I was looking for something else. And Lynn Schuster Williams said, this guy, John Drennan, is going to be doing this luncheon in Evansville, and you love to network, and he's an awesome guy. You need to go to his lunch. And I said, okay. So I've done a little bit of everything, Dani. So anybody needs a 3-way call, give me a shout. I can probably work my way through it.
I love it. And I think we all know who this guy, John Drennan, is.
He sounds familiar anyway. All right. So I want to know, what is the most uplifting part of being associated with Legal Shield?
Well, I'm not going to say anything different than anybody else does. It's the people, you know, it's the one of the, you know, I do a ton of networking for women, thanks to John Drennan telling me I needed to do a women's, a Ladies of Justice networking event. And I argued with him for 2 weeks and finally gave in. It's become this kind of its own thing here. So I do a ton of networking for women. And one of the most heartwarming stories was a young woman whose ex-husband, his ex-father-in-law, was best friends with the judge in the small Alabama town where they lived, and they conducted a smear campaign and got her children taken away from her. And Legal Shield was able to work with, she lives here now, I'm able to work with the Alabama firm. The Alabama firm was able at least to get her visitation rights. That was huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is huge. I love hearing stories like that. So is that your favorite Legal Shield story? Do you have any others that you would like to share?
Oh man, there's so many.
I know, right?
Yeah, just I think it's, and somebody said this before, we really provide hope. I think maybe John Hoffman said that last week. You know, we really provide hope to people. I have a client that a member that got Legal Shield because she has a special needs son. She needed to get her documents drafted. She has a difficult ex-husband. She needed those documents reviewed and some assistance with all of that. And then she had a neighbor behind her who had above ground pools are a big deal here. And the above ground pool collapsed and all that water ran down the hill and flooded her garage and her yard. And they also have a pit bull that they let a 9-year-old walk who is not friendly. And so she was able to call the law firm, and the law firm was able to write letters on her behalf and guide her in how to interact with that neighbor. So she got it for one reason, but used it for something else. And I have several members that have gotten the membership mostly because we're in networking and they hear me talk about it all the time, so they know they need it, but they never think they're going to use it until something happens. And you guys all know, I tell everybody, you need to keep it a year, because we know that now that you have it, something will happen and you'll need to use it. And so it's always fascinating to hear folks say, you know, I really never thought I'd use it, and it's just come in so handy. I call all the time now to get all my questions answered, which is the whole point, right?
Love it. Yep, absolutely. So we all know you're a servant leader in Legal Shield. Obviously, you help with this call. What is your favorite servant leadership activity?
Oh, wow, that's tough. Well, we're not, I probably helping with the in-person events, but since we're not doing those right now, yeah, I think it's doing these calls, the Sunday night team call. That's been the most fun.
Wonderful. All right. Why does Ladies of Justice speak to you? I know you were fighting it before, but why now?
I didn't understand it when, like, I didn't get it. And it's fascinating to me that Legal Shield finally figured out that women do business differently than men, and that our schedules are not our own. You know, every woman that I talk to has multiple responsibilities, and I'm not saying that men don't help out, but women generally are responsible for the majority of the domestic situation. You know, if they've got kids, they're generally the ones taking them to the doctor. They're getting all the household stuff done. They've got aging parents. I have friends who are daughters-in-law taking care of their in-laws, you know, the aging parents, because they're, you know, they only have the one son, but the guys just, that's not their thing. So there's multiple responsibilities. So I think it's the providing an opportunity. I mean, we really, with the Ladies of Justice here, we read that mission statement every week, and we support women as we climb. We truly practice when the tide rises, all ships sail, whether that's for the membership or for the opportunity. So it's, you know, it's building the community, Dani, like you and I've talked about.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. If you could change one thing about your Legal Shield business, what would it be?
Oh, I'd have listened to John and started building my team a lot sooner. I made it to director on my own, and it's a lot more fun with the team. It's a lot more fun with the team.
Absolutely. All right. We're down to our 30 seconds. Any last minute tips or advice you would like to give the team?
There's a difference between being teachable and coachable. I always knew I was teachable. I didn't know I wasn't coachable until I got into Legal Shield. Up until now, that is, I do what the guys who've been successful tell me to do now.
I can totally relate to that, Leigh. I totally understand what teachable versus coachable is now. And I didn't know the difference for a long time. So I can understand that. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming on and being in the hot seat tonight. I wanted everybody to hear your story and hear about you because they see your face, but we didn't know your story. So we wanted to highlight you tonight. And with that, I am going to jump out to Miss Linda Beck, who is pinch hitting for Jane Lehman on our tidbit section. Linda?
Thank you very much, Dani. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Linda Beck from Morris, Illinois. How to use the new Teammates feature on the mobile app. This is resources from Jane Lehman, and by the end of this, you'll understand a little more. This is the buddy system where you can search for other associates in the company and request to add them as a teammate for quicker future communications together. It's a simple walk through Prospect by Legal Shield, and I'm going to share a screen with you if I can figure this out. I think I can. Hold on. Let's hope. Oh, wait a second. I gotta share the screen first, right?
Steve, do you need to make her a co-host so she can share the screen?
Can you see it?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, thank you. Now I have to move you people so I can see it. There we go. Okay, you recognize this as the Prospect by Legal Shield app. And Prospect by Legal Shield is getting more and more advanced. It is a time to embrace it and utilize everything it has to offer. As you can see here, there are 4 steps noted. Jane did a good job on this. Number 1, you go down here to the first screen where you have, it says more down here, and there's 3 dots. You click on that, and that's going to take you to the second screen with the icons. This will, where the icons will show you where number 2 is, a teammates icon here. You click on that which is then going to take you to this third screen. And you'll, when, unless you've used this screen before, your screen is going to be blank. Jane has obviously been working on this a little bit. And what's going to happen is you'll have this link up here that says add new teammates. You'll click on that. It'll ask for an email address for the person that you want to connect with. And you'll send that email inviting them to be part of your teammate's screen. When you do that, you'll get an icon over here. It'll first say pending, and that'll say pending until they respond to you. And once they do respond, it'll show that a request for a three-way call can be made. I'm reading my notes, sorry. And then when you do that, when they accept that call or accept that invite, you will automatically get an invite from them indicating that you will be put on their teammate screen. So it'll work back and forth. And then once that is all done, you'll get a notification for requests, invites, and responses. They'll be received on the push notifications when you've logged into when you are logged into your app. So if it's always logged into, you'll start seeing those numbers on your phone. When you tap that notification, you'll be taken directly to this screen over here where it says the number 4. We've had a lot of trainings on the advantages of three-way calls. I did find when looking at this information, a 7-minute video on PBLS, the PBLS resource, which explains the dynamics and the importance of three-way calls. Find that by going to Prospect by Legal Shield, resources, and training. If the training is not showing on your phone app, you'll need to go through LS Engage to get there. But then you can apply the training that Jane did a few weeks ago, where you can add these applications to your phone app so you can get to them easier. And that's about it. Let me close this, stop my share. It's the first time I've shared, so I'm kind of glad it worked. And now this, I think that's it. Back to you, Dani.
Awesome. That was a great job, Linda, for your first time sharing your screen. You did wonderful, and you pinch hitted last minute. So thank you so much. We absolutely appreciate that. You did a wonderful job. All right. Now it is my chance again to do the behind the scenes with a millionaire. And, you know, the one and only millionaire that we absolutely love dearly. It is our fearless leader, our servant leader, Mr. John Drennan, is always ready to help us out when we don't have any other millionaires to chat with. So hi, John.
Hey, there needs to be more of us.
There does need to be more
Hi
of
there.
us, but we're working on it, right?
I know that.
All right. Well, awesome. So I want to know, guys, how many of you, I know a lot of you have gotten his book, but how many of you have actually read his book now that it's been out? Brenda, Ted, Annette, Robert, Timmer, Leigh, Alan. Awesome. Awesome. I'm loving this. Cool. Well, I also finally finished the book. John, you called me out because I had not started it. And so then I went ahead and started it the other day and finished it the same day. And I was thoroughly impressed. And what I said to you, I think, was that every new person in network marketing needs to read this book. And I felt that way because of just your explanation of network marketing. It's not a how to do network marketing, it's why to do network marketing, right? And that was super powerful to me. So can you share with us why you decided to do a why to versus a how to?
Yeah, before I do that, great job, Linda, and Jane for helping with that. I was not aware of that, teammates. I hadn't used that notification, and it's the value of showing up here. So great job. Also, Dani, you said after reading it, you'd like your new people to read it. You know, Brian Crothers, right on the back of the book, his comment was, "I wish there were books like this for me to read when I got started." So that sort of aligns with what you just said. The reason for the Y2, I've done different interviews and stuff, so I don't know who's heard what, but for years it bothered me to see how many people got thrown off their dream path because of some critic who, for the most part, didn't know what they didn't know. So they're making these ignorant comments, but they're throwing new people off the bridge. And so I thought, wow, you know, if people only knew. And eventually I realized, you know, I'm the person to write this book, not the only person, but I'm someone who could write this book to help get out there. First, to help the people influenced by the skeptics, but also to try and articulate the real benefits that await somebody who does this business and stays with it and does it the right way. Because, and we all know, I mean, I'm looking at the screen, there's so many veterans on here. You've all tasted the different parts, you know, the relationships and the trips and travel and the skills you learn, all these things that a brand new person can't possibly understand is coming their way. But I thought if a third party person could encourage that new person or that person who's thinking about the industry to get a different message from a book, that could be really valuable. So, and finally, you know, most of the books are how to, and I just felt there needed to be the Y2 conversation out there.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. I mean, I wish I had this book when I got started. No, I didn't quit, but there was definitely times where I could have used the knowledge in this book to continue pushing forward probably sooner in my business than later. And I'm definitely going to be ordering many copies of them and sending them out to every new person that comes on the team and having them read it first. One of the lines that struck me was, don't get mad at your money. Can you share that story of when Harlan told you that?
Well, those of you who were around when Harlan Stonecipher was alive and around, we've all heard him say that. And for me, there wasn't one incident, there were many where I got really frustrated at different things. And I give the example in the book where I talk about scars, or, you know, you come this close to a bonus or a trip, but then miss it. And a lot of times miss it because somebody promised or committed and then didn't follow through. Or an example of just things that at times maybe really frustrated me about the company, about the business, about the team, the whatever. And I'd be feeling that, and then I'd remember what Harlan Stonecipher said, don't get mad at your money. And the point is, this company has been paying me every day for about 2 decades. Why do I want to get mad at that? You know, so that helped me discipline my disappointments, something we've all heard. I got that in the book, and helped me come up with NATO, NATO. To my knowledge, I'm the first person I know that ever used that acronym, and it stands for not attached to the outcome. So I learned 20 plus years ago, I need to detach from the outcome and just do the process. I love that, Jane. Jane's, whatever you call it there.
Right. All right. All right. I had one more question and now you distracted me. So we all know you as coach, and as we know, a lot, even in NFL, NBA, all that, a lot of coaches, they might have played for a little bit, but usually the teacher is because they can't play, right? Or weren't as good of a player, but they are a great coach. And that is somebody that you are. I'm curious to know, in your tenure, what are your accolades of people that have reached a ring, that have reached Millionaire Club status within your organization? Do you know those numbers?
Yeah, and they're not that big. I mean, Jim Harkman, Timur Halligan have reached Millionaire Club status. Allie Sanders, 6-figure ring. We actually had a 6-figure ring earner who left the business many years ago. Of course, the Birds, and I saw or see Sheila Bird on here, ring earner. Kathy Scribner, ring earner. Of course, Timur, obviously, and Jim Harkman, ring earners. I've got more ring earners. I shouldn't have said I can just name them because I've got more than that. But and how many, by show of hands, are on track to be a ring earner? Okay, so some of you are, and those that didn't show your hands, I would ask you, and not that that's everybody's goal, but why not have that be a goal? And I know, Dani, you guys are real close.
Yeah, we're pushing hard for sure. We've been working hard. We would love to see our 50K ring before the end of 2021. But what I love about that is that it just goes to show that you don't have to be a Brian Carruthers to show other people how to do this business. I think one of the things that I think you read, read this in your book, or I could just be confusing another book I just read as well, but that you're always looking for your replacement, right? And that's something that hit me really hard, because you're always looking for your replacement. You want to find that person that's going to pass you up.
That you're always, I would love someone to pass me up in our organization. But the other thing, I'm always looking for your replacement. And I'm always looking for Linda and Steve Beck's replacement. I see them on the screen. I'm always looking for Leigh's replacement. Here's why. If I find somebody who outperforms Leigh, is that going to benefit Leigh? Big time. Is that also going to benefit Lynn Schuster Williams? That's Leigh's sponsor. Big time. Is that going to benefit Melvin Turner, who Lynn is under? Even though I've worked with Lynn, I met Lynn through Melvin, so I placed Lynn under Melvin. Big time. So that's why you always want to be looking for everybody in your organization, their replacement, meaning someone who could outperform them, but also someone who's there if something happens to one of you. Remember, I said, I had someone with the 6-figure ring in my business who actually ended up being out of the business. Well, luckily I had gotten to know and work with a lot of people on his team who ended up doing very well and are still on the team.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you, John. We are out of time on this, but I super appreciate it. I hope you all aren't tired of hearing about John's book yet, because I'm not. After reading it, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go read it like 3 more times. There's just nuggets after nuggets in there, guys. And really, if you are restarting your journey even, it is a good place to start.
Hey,
So
hey,
thanks.
Dani, I'd like to make a quick comment about that. If I felt that coming back to the book frequently was problematic for you all, I would advise against it. But I actually believe it's a great guide and could be a training tool for the business. So until I feel like maybe we've exhausted what's in there that could benefit you, it's worth talking about. And I absolutely believe if the book would have been there when I got started, it would have meant so much. It's hard to quantify that, but it would have been significant. So thank you. Thanks to each one of you.
Thank you so much for writing such an incredible book that we get to talk about it so often. Love it. All right. With that, I am going to go out. back to our hostess with the mostest, Miss Leigh Perry.
Thank you so much, Danny and John. Make sure you check the chat. Alan has an awesome suggestion for you. All right, folks, you know what's so great about this Legal Shield family is that there are folks that are adopted from other teams that just love being part of Success Partners because of our focus and our professionalism. And I just want to say thanks to everybody on this call and those of you that stepped up to pinch hit and to help and are always ready to do that. So it is now motivation moment. Mr. John Bradley, I'm going to toss that ball your way and let you take us home, man.
Very good. Good evening, everybody. John Bradley from Novi, Michigan, background public safety communications. I received a text earlier this morning from Miss Dani Goeden, and I could tell that she needed a little help. And, you know, we've had our training about when you're asked to do something, you say yes. And so I was asked to do the motivational moment today, and I'm glad to do it. I will be celebrating my 20th anniversary with Legal Shield in December. Hard to believe it. And hear me when I say this. I've seen them come and I've seen them go, but I'm still here, and I'm grateful for that. I've been a part of certainly Success Partners. Worked closely with Jim Harkema when both he and John Drennan were here in the Detroit area, and I've learned a lot. But I'm motivated by the camaraderie and cohesiveness of this team. I try to get on the stretch call every weekday morning. Many times I can't speak or contribute, but I'll do it when I can. But I'm really looking forward to Phoenix, where we're going to finally, for many of us, see each other either for the first time in a long time or the first time ever. And whenever I get discouraged, there's always a nugget that I get from that call or this call that gives me the pickup that I need. I know we have Janae that does our quotes every morning, but one quote that sticks in mind with me is the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And you got to move, you got to do something. Dani, you can relate to this. Given the 4 personality types, she and I are urchins, and I have a tendency to get into paralysis or analysis paralysis. And if I take that first step, that will lead me toward getting something else done. Case in point, my challenges with qualifying for Performance Club over the last couple of months. I took the step, I got it done. So all of that to say that the team and the nuggets that I derive from this and from all of you, and looking forward to getting my book signed, Mr. Drennan, out in Phoenix, and I'm sure many of us are. And just looking forward to seeing everybody and certainly learning the next step in the next chapter with Legal Shield. Back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, John. And those of you that will be there in person, please take great notes. There are some of us who are unable to attend in person, and so we'll be living vicariously through your tweets and Facebook comments and posts. So thank you so much, John, and thanks for saying yes. Right? Success begins with showing up, and part of that showing up is saying yes when asked. All right, Mr. Steve Beck always does such an amazing job with our music and with our videos. So I know that he's got something ready for us, and Mr. Drennan's reminding us, if you can't attend in person, be sure and do it virtually. It's very easy to do. I think there's still some bundle tickets left, and you can do the add-on for virtual to that. All right, Mr. Beck, when you decide to stop recording, we'll get that video going.